In Atomic Habits, James Clear paints a clear picture of how focusing on huge goals can sometimes lead to frustration. He argues that instead of obsessing over those big milestones, the real power lies in the small, consistent actions we take every day. Imagine trying to build a house. Instead of worrying about the finished home, you focus on laying each brick perfectly. Over time, these little, repetitive actions, your systems create powerful habits that guide you toward success without even thinking about it. It's about making tiny improvements that compound over time. If you want to make real changes in your life, it's less about huge, sweeping transformations and more about the small, everyday habits you build. Take getting in shape as an example. Instead of completely overhauling your diet or committing to intense workouts every day, try eating a bit healthier, exercising regularly, and prioritizing sleep. It's the little, manageable changes that matter. This idea is central in Atomic Habits. The quality of your life is shaped by the quality of your habits, and even tiny habits can add up over time to create a big impact. Why tiny changes make a big difference? Tiny changes have a huge impact over time. What are habits? Habits, whether good or bad, all start with small, almost insignificant decisions. When you repeat those decisions, they grow stronger, like a plant sprouting roots. Building a good habit is a slow, steady process, like nurturing a delicate flower daily. Meanwhile, breaking a bad habit feels like trying to uproot a deeply entrenched tree. This shows how something as small as a daily choice can lead to big transformations if given enough time and consistency. Habits are those little things we do every day without thinking much about them, yet they have a massive impact on who we are. What we do regularly becomes a part of our identity. Even small, consistent actions can lead to big changes over time. The key is patience. While it might take a while to see the results, sticking with good habits keeps you on the right path. Significant transformation doesn't mean you have to flip your life upside down. Often, it's the small, daily tweaks that lead to the biggest rewards. Why is it hard to build good habits? Building good habits can be tough because they rely on conditioning. We tend to repeat actions that feel rewarding until they become second nature. Think of it like when you were a baby and sucked your thumb to soothe yourself. It felt good, so you kept doing it. This is why breaking bad habits is challenging. They often come with immediate rewards, while building good habits takes time and persistence. It's hard to replace something that gives you instant satisfaction with something that requires effort and patience to see results. Luckily, you can use conditioning to build good habits, too. Take something like a morning run. Over time, the endorphin boost and feeling of accomplishment make it easier to stick to. The small wins keep you going. We often fail to create good habits because we mistakenly believe that big success needs big action. But it's those little, consistent improvements, like showing up for that daily run, that truly add up over time. Each small effort compounds, gradually leading to real change. James Clear explains how small, consistent changes can lead to dramatic improvements over time. He uses the example of improving just 1% each day, which may seem tiny at first, but it compounds over a year to make you 37 times better, thanks to the math. 1.01 raised to the power of 365 equals 37.78. On the flip side, even a small decline of 1% each day can lead to a major drop, as 0.99 to the power of 365 is almost zero. This highlights how both good and bad habits can snowball, either building you up or pulling you down over time. Compound interest. Atomic habits work like the compound interest of self-improvement. Just as money grows over time through compounding, the effects of your habits build up as you consistently repeat them. Even though a single day's effort might seem insignificant, the cumulative impact over months and years can be monumental. The same goes for bad habits. For example, postponing tasks may feel harmless in the moment, but when you let small mistakes like that compound over time, they can lead to negative, long-term results. Success comes from nurturing positive habits and minimizing the daily 1% errors that can snowball into bigger issues. Success doesn't come from one-off, life-changing events but from the small habits you repeat every day. You might not see immediate results from these daily habits because the outcomes tend to lag behind. This creates what James Clear calls the plateau of latent potential, where progress seems invisible for a while. It's easy to get discouraged and give up at this stage since humans often crave instant gratification. But if you stick with it, eventually, you will break through this plateau and reach a new level of performance. The key is patience and trust in the process, knowing that real results take time. Forget about goals, concentrate on systems. Forget about setting goals and focus on building systems instead. As James Clear says, you should care more about your path than your current results. Goals are just the outcomes you want, but systems are the methods and habits that actually get you there. By focusing on systems, you're putting yourself on the right track without stressing over the end result. If you get the process right, the outcome will follow naturally. Clear emphasizes that by prioritizing systems over goals, you are more consistent and adaptable, leading to better long-term success. 1. Both winners and losers have the same aspirations. 1. Take Olympians, for instance, they all aim for gold medals, and entrepreneurs share the dream of success. 1. However, just having these goals doesn't guarantee that they'll reach them. 1. If it did, we'd see countless gold medalists and successful entrepreneurs everywhere. 1. The difference lies in the systems that winners put in place to achieve their goals. 1. Reaching a goal often results in only a temporary change, which can even limit your happiness. 1. We often believe that achieving our goals will bring us immediate joy, but this mindset can lead to disappointment. 1. For instance, even after we reach a goal, we might still feel unfulfilled. 1. Conversely, if we fall short, we might feel robbed of our happiness. 1. This highlights the importance of focusing on the journey rather than just the destination. 1. Goals might help you achieve short-term results, but they don't drive long-term progress, systems do. 1. If you are struggling to change your habits, the issue isn't with you, but with your system. 1. That's why it's crucial to shift your focus from specific goals to the overall system you use. 1. One of the key messages in Atomic Habits is that you don't reach success because of your goals, you fall to the level of your system. James Clear compares it to a stonecutter striking a rock. The final blow splits the rock, but it was the result of all the previous efforts combined, not just that last hit. This perfectly illustrates how persistence with the right systems leads to meaningful progress. Habit loops. Habits work in a loop that reinforces itself over time. The more you repeat a habit and experience its rewards, the more likely you are to keep doing it. This process can help you change your behavior in a structured way. Here's how it works. 1. Cue. Something triggers your brain to take action, anticipating a reward. 2. Craving. Over time, you don't just want the action, you crave the feeling it gives you. 3. Behavior. Because of these cravings, the action becomes automatic and part of who you are, eventually forming a habit. This cycle strengthens with repetition, turning actions into habits that stick. Eventually, repeating a habit brings long-term rewards. James Clear uses the example of a morning coffee to explain the habit loop. 1. Cue, waking up. 2. Craving, wanting to feel awake. 3. Action, drinking coffee. 4. Reward, feeling alert. This cycle, cue, craving, response, reward, forms a feedback loop in your brain. It's the core of how habits are built and maintained over time, as each loop reinforces the habit further. This loop allows you to create and reinforce atomic habits. The more you practice the habit loop with any habit, the more it will become automatic. Clear provides 4 laws that describe the way you can start building habit loops. First law, make it obvious to build good habits, you need to make the cues that trigger them obvious. For example, if you want to practice guitar more often, place your guitar in a visible spot like the living room. Seeing it regularly will act as a clear reminder to play. On the flip side, if you're trying to break a bad habit, you need to hide or remove the cues that trigger it, making it less likely to happen. It's all about making it easy for your brain to notice the cues that help you stick to your goals. Another excellent way to introduce new cues is by creating a habit stack. Habit stacking is simply the act of adding habits before and after each other. Remember that your brain creates strong neurological connections to support regular habits. You can use those connections by tying a new habit to an established one. This could mean putting on workout clothes directly after taking off your work shoes, or meditating for a minute right after pouring your first cup of coffee. How to form good habits. The more pride you have in a particular aspect of your identity, the more motivated you will be to maintain the habits associated with it. If you're proud of how your hair looks, you'll develop all sorts of habits to care for and maintain it. If you're proud of the size of your biceps, you'll make sure you never skip an upper body workout. If you're proud of the scarves you knit, you'll be more likely to spend hours knitting each week. Once your pride gets involved, you'll fight tooth and nail to maintain your habits. James Clear. Certain stimuli can trigger habitual behavior. Once you understand that, you can use this knowledge to form good habits. Encourage better habits by changing your environment. Create cues that are as obvious as possible, and you'll be more likely to respond to them. For example, suppose you want to eat healthier snacks. You could leave these healthy snacks out on the shelf rather than hiding them in the salad drawer. Use implementation intentions by making a clear plan of when and where you'll perform your new habit. Rather than saying something vague like "I'll eat healthier," decide specifically, "I'll eat a salad for lunch at 12:30 in the office cafeteria." This way, your habit is tied to a time and place, making it easier to follow through. Also, build in a bit of temptation by linking a habit you're trying to form with something you already enjoy. For example, watch your favorite show while cycling at the gym. Make the new habit more appealing and easy to adopt by removing obstacles. On the flip side, make bad habits harder to stick to by increasing friction. A great tip is the 2-minute rule. This strategy suggests that you start with just 2 minutes of any new activity, whether it's exercising, reading, or writing. The hardest part is getting started, so keeping it small and manageable can get you moving toward bigger goals. Finally, make your habits instantly satisfying, especially those with delayed rewards. Finding a way to reward yourself quickly for taking action helps you stay consistent and motivated over time. How to keep your habits on track. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. No single instance will transform your beliefs, but as the votes build up, so does the evidence of your new identity. James Clear. Option 1, Habit Tracker. A habit tracker helps you stay consistent with the small, daily actions that build long-term habits. You can use a simple tool like a calendar or a journal to track your progress, marking off each day you follow through with your habit. Over time, you'll start to see patterns and feel accomplished as your streak builds. The act of tracking itself becomes a rewarding habit, giving you a sense of satisfaction and making it more likely you'll stick to your goals. Option 2, Contract. Create a habit contract that sets clear expectations and consequences if you don't follow through. Bring in someone else to hold you accountable. Knowing that someone is watching can really boost your motivation to stay on track. Just the idea of having to explain why you didn't stick to your habit can make you more committed. Plus, involving others can turn it into a shared experience, adding extra support and encouragement. The second law, make it attractive. To make a habit stick, it needs to be appealing and rewarding. One effective way to do this is through temptation bundling. This involves pairing something you enjoy with the habit you want to build. For example, you could watch your favorite TV show while exercising. By combining an unenjoyable task with something you love, you're more likely to stick with it. Another method is to immerse yourself in a community where your desired behavior is the norm. If you want to read more, for example, joining a book club can make reading more fun and keep you accountable. Being part of a group that values the habits you're trying to build boosts your motivation. On the flip side, if you're trying to break a bad habit, it helps to remove yourself from environments where those habits are accepted. For instance, if you're trying to quit smoking, avoid spending too much time around smokers, as their behavior may encourage yours. Third law, make it easy. Changing habits isn't just about willpower or motivation, it's also about reducing the effort required. Humans naturally lean toward options that take the least amount of effort. So, if you make positive behaviors easier and more accessible, you'll be more likely to stick with them. For example, if you want to get fit, you can make it easier by prepping your gym bag the night before or choosing a gym on your commute. This way, you minimize the effort and remove excuses. For breaking bad habits, you want to add friction. If you want to watch less TV, only turn it on when you know exactly what you want to watch. This extra step stops you from mindlessly flipping through channels. Fourth law, make it satisfying. When starting a new habit, the results don't show up right away, and that lack of instant gratification can make it hard to stick with. At first, you might feel like you're making sacrifices without any reward, like hitting the gym and seeing no physical changes for weeks. That's why it's crucial to create immediate rewards that keep you motivated. One way to do this is by setting up a simple reward system for yourself. For example, if you're trying to quit drinking, instead of focusing on the long-term health benefits, transfer a set amount of money into a vacation fund for every week you go without alcohol. This gives you a tangible, satisfying reward in the short term, keeping your motivation high. Advanced tactics, the 3 layers of behavior change. To really understand how to change behavior, James Clear breaks it down into 3 layers: outcomes, processes, and identity. The outcome is what you want to achieve, like losing weight or getting a promotion. The process is what you do to get there, working out regularly or improving your skills. But the most important layer, the core of behavior change, is identity, what you believe about yourself. Often, people focus on the outcome first. They aim for a specific result and try to build habits around that. But lasting change happens when you shift your identity. For example, instead of just saying, "I want to run a marathon," you adopt the belief, "I am a runner." It's this shift that makes sticking to habits easier. Every small action you take strengthens this identity. Each time you act in alignment with the person you want to be, you're casting a vote for that version of yourself. No single action will define you, but as these actions add up, your identity changes, and your new habits become part of who you are. Here's a simple 2-step strategy. 1. Decide what kind of person you want to be. 2. Prove it to yourself with small actions that reinforce that identity. Every little one helps to solidify your belief in this new identity. Final summary: Atomic habits. Instead of chasing multiple big goals, Atomic habits encourages focusing on systems that support the formation of habits. James Clear emphasizes that consistent, small improvements, just 1% better each day, can lead to significant success. Here's how you can do that. 1. Break bad habits while reinforcing good ones. 2. Avoid common pitfalls when trying to change your habits. 3. Overcome barriers like lack of motivation or willpower. 4. Build a strong sense of identity and believe in your ability to change. 5. Make time for new habits and fit them into your routine. 6. Shape your environment so that success becomes easier. 7. Embrace tiny, manageable changes that lead to big outcomes. 8. Stay on track even when you slip up. Clear also offers practical advice for creating habits through his 4 laws. 1. Make it obvious. 2. Make it attractive. 3. Make it easy. 4. Make it satisfying. By adopting these strategies, you can build a system that makes continuous improvement a part of your daily life, eventually leading to meaningful, lasting success.